Hello and welcome back. My name is Jennifer and I make stuff. So I'm going to show you how to turn these navy blue Christmas baubles into these rose gold, champagne and chocolatey brown Christmas baubles. So a little bit of a disclaimer, this is going to be a pretty messy project because there's a lot of glitter involved here, so you're just keep that in mind and you're going to have to do a lot of cleanup after this, but it's going to enhance the magical factor to all of these Christmas baubles. So what would Christmas be like without any glitter in it, you know? What would be a great Christmas bauble to start with than the larger one? And these are navy blue Christmas baubles, sort of a facet Christmas ball, I would have to say. Each corner of this one is decorated with some glitter, so I wanted to do something similar to this one, but more closer to that kind of rose gold theme that I'm going for. But I also wanted to have some beige tones and some brown tones, maybe some bronze. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. In this video I'm going to use a lot of spray paint, but you can obviously use if you have an airbrush, or you can just paint on your Christmas baubles with some acrylics. So for this one, I'm going to first spray the entire Christmas bauble with this spray paint. It's called Latte. So it's not white or ivory, it's just a very light beige. So I'm going to show you now how I decorated this one with some glitter. And what you're going to use here is, you can use Mod Podge or any kind of decoupage glue. Just any kind of water-based glue that's a little bit thicker that you can use as a sealer or a finish. This is the glossy one, but it doesn't matter if you use the glossy one or the matte one. It's all about having that kind of sticky surface for the glitter to attach to. And the glitter I'm going to use for this are a lot of these nail art glitters that I had. So I have a lot of these that are like purples, pinks, golden shades. Some are these holographic shades, orangey tints. So what I decided to do, instead of having to, apply the glitters one by one, I decided to use some of these just plastic pots that I had and pour in some of these glitters and made a mixture so I could get that kind of rose gold effect, and because I didn't have a glitter that was rose gold. So I'm going to show you now how I'm going to apply the glitter to this Christmas bauble. So after the Mod Podge had dried to the point that it gotten a little bit tacky, I just started to pour the glitter all over the Christmas bauble. I had to work in steps, so sometimes when I had poured all the glitter that was in the container, I then had to pour the glitter back into the small plastic pot and do the process over again until the entire Christmas bauble was covered with glitter. And then when the glue had completely dried, I can just brush off the excess glitter with just an old stippling brush. Since I had 12 of these faceted Christmas baubles, I felt like I wanted to have a little bit of a variety of the style of these baubles. So I decided to make half of these in this pink shade, and then I used the rose metallic and sprayed it on top of the surface to create a textured pattern on the Christmas bauble. Then to add something extra to this Christmas bauble, I used some of this mermaid or aurora nail powder and just rubbed it on the surface of the Christmas bauble to get this nice two-tone shimmery shine on the surface of the Christmas bauble. And then I did the exact same process with the Mod Podge, but this time I mixed a lighter version of this glitter mix, so it would be a better contrast with the deeper pink tone that is on the Christmas bauble. And then I did the exact same application process of working in steps with applying the glitter, and then when the glue had dried, I just wiped off the excess glitter with the brush. The next Christmas baubles I'm going to show you now, some of them are the same kind of these navy blues, but they have different applications or different finishes to them. So I made this variety of Christmas baubles out of these two variations. This one just looks like it's a Christmas bauble that is made of chocolate. And this one was very simple. I just went over the Christmas bauble with 2 layers of this chocolatey brown glossy spray paint. And the other one is one of those matte ones that is spray painted here with just 1 or 2 layers of a copper spray paint that I had. So these ones have 2 different applications that you can see. This one is a more pinkish tone and this one has more of that kind of brownish copper tint to it. So I'm first going to talk about this one. So this one was first spray painted with a bright pink spray paint that I had. And then to apply all of the glitter, I used the Mod Podge using a sponge to get a stippled effect. Adding that stippling texture would increase more that grainy surface that would be if you have all of this glitter. And also the glitter would actually stick to the surface much better if the surface was a little bit more textured than smooth. And then I just pour all of the glitter on top of the Christmas bauble. Made sure that I went over as many times as I could until I could see that all the surface of this one was covered with the glitter. And this one is basically the same process when it comes to applying all of the glitter, but the difference is that this one was just spray painted with that chocolatey brown spray paint, the one that left this Christmas bauble over here looking like a chocolatey Christmas bauble. So that's what I have as a base for this one, and then I just had another mixture that has more black and some browns and some deeper pinks mixed in with some gold to give it more of that kind of chocolatey copper pink tint to it. So it would have all those shades that the other Christmas baubles have, but makes it look deeper tone than this one. So I'm going to have a variety of glitter Christmas baubles that has different shades. So this one's more purple and this one is more brown. So the next Christmas bauble that I want to talk about is one of these that is covered in glitter here, because you're not going to get a smooth surface if you spray paint one of these with spray paint, because it has all of this grainy surface with all of the glitter. But if you like that kind of grainy textured effect, then maybe this Christmas bauble is going to be for you. So this is going to be a pretty easy process if you have spray paint. So this one was spray painted with the pink spray paint, so it left a pink base for this one. I just wanted to make sure that I had this pink tint all over the surface so none of the navy blue would show through. So once that was done and the spray paint had dried, I just went over with the metallic spray paint and went over the entire surface, and also made sure that I was keeping a distance from the bauble and the spray paint, and that was left me with this metallic almost rose gold, but I would have to say more of a old pink shade to it. Next we have one of these Christmas baubles that is also a glossy finish. So this one is spray painted with the dark brown, but I didn't want to just have a glossy dark brown Christmas bauble because it would look a little bit boring, and I wanted to have something that would stand out a bit when you're looking at the Christmas tree from further away. So what I decided to do was just decorate this one with some rhinestones and some glitter. This glitter that I'm using here is the same mixture that I had here, which is the darker shades that I used for the darker glitter covered Christmas bauble that I had here. What I decided to do for this one is a snowflake, but I'm going to show you how to do another pattern so you can have a variety of decorations on your Christmas baubles. And like I did before, I used the Mod Podge and a tiny brush that I could paint with, so something that was a very thin looking brush to it, maybe a very thin like that, or maybe one of those that has a little bit of a longer bristle to it or longer hairs, but still is a thin brush, so you can add a longer strand but it's still thin. And then I decided to make sure that the Mod Podge dried a bit so it was tacky. And for this one I just decided to do another pattern that matches some of the decor that I had at home, because I had some of these table runners that has these glittery looking leaves on them, but using the glitter that I have here and having a chocolatey brown base. And the last design that I made of all the varieties of Christmas baubles that I have here are one of these matte looking Christmas baubles. I wanted to have some Christmas baubles that was a little bit exclusive, a little bit over the top, very fancy looking, very decorated and all that. So I decided to make these ones, hold them like this, because this is how they're going to hang on the Christmas tree. So this one was just spray painted with the chocolatey brown. And then when that had dried, I spray painted the entire surface with that rose metallic spray paint. It looks like an old pink. It's not this shade, it's that shade. So I spray painted this one. I think I spray painted this one with maybe just one coat, because I noticed that some areas are having these kind of effects or textures to it, meaning that some areas are not 100% covered up with the rose metallic spray paint. So I think you can see some of the dark brown peeking through there. I really like this effect, it looked very cool, so I kept it like that, but we're going to see if I do the same thing on the other one. So that's what I did. Then I used these kind of rhinestones or decorative rhinestones with a sticky backside. You can just stick onto any kind of surface that you want to decorate with some rhinestones. So it's like this kind of sheet that has these rhinestones and they're sticking with some kind of sticky backside here. So I applied these sticky rhinestones on top of this one. And then I randomly applied some of these larger rhinestones that has more of this aurora effect or a rainbow effect to them. I think they're called AB when you're thinking about Swarovski crystals, but it has this kind of more rainbowy crystal instead of having more of one shade in the crystal. And then to make it look a little bit more like candy, I decided to I just dabbed on with a tiny brush some of the Mod Podge just randomly on top of the surface. I used these tiny looking pearls and just pour them onto the Christmas bauble, and they would stick immediately to the surface where I had applied the Mod Podge. And I just made sure that the Mod Podge was a little bit tacky, so the pearls would stick immediately and not just run off the Christmas bauble. And then I made sure that I didn't touch the Christmas bauble when the pearls were drying in place there. Now they are stuck there and won't get removed or anything like that. Obviously, if I start to scratch on the surface and all that, I'm going to pick off some of the pearls, but right now just hanging like this, and when they're going to hang in the Christmas tree, they're going to stay in place. And this is something you can do whatever variety you want. You can cover the entire Christmas bauble with these pearls and having it look like it's some kind of large round candy, maybe like I don't know if it's called candy apple or something. This kind of candy, there's an apple that has been covered in some kind of syrup or something, and then just poured some of this tiny candy on top of it. I think if you would do something like that with a Christmas bauble, it's going to definitely look like it's those kind of Christmas candies. So these are just some of those exclusive looking Christmas baubles that's going to stand out in the Christmas tree. Now, to keep the glitter in place and not just fall off the Christmas baubles, I went over a few times with the fixative spray to make sure that the glitter stays in place, and I also went over the Christmas baubles with the small beaded pearls. And then the Christmas baubles was completely done, and I could reattach the bauble hangers to the Christmas baubles. And then it was finally time to decorate the Christmas tree with my newly made rose gold themed Christmas baubles. So that's how I gave my navy blue Christmas baubles a completely new makeover to fit more of that rose gold and chocolatey brown theme. And maybe you got some ideas to change your own Christmas baubles that you're getting a bit tired with and find that they are not your style and you want to make something unique and personal with them. Or if you're tired with the theme that you have had previous years and just want to change it up and use some other themes but don't want to waste money buying new decorations and then having to toss the old Christmas decorations you have used because they are not fitting the theme that you are going for now. Yeah, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.